Morning, everyone. I'd like to call the April 23rd Finance Committee meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Member Cahill, Member Chaplin,
Here.
Member Childress,
Yes.
Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff, Member Evans.
Here.
Member Galassi.
Here.
Member Garcia.
Here.
Member Guston, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Ozog, Member Rutledge, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Here.
and Member Zay.
Thank you. So we have a quorum. Do we have any public comment this morning? Okay, no public comment. I have no remarks. Can I have a motion on 1254 Finance Committee regular meeting minutes from April 9th, 2024? There was a motion by Member Rutledge, second by Member Garcia. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. We move on to budget transfers. Can I have a motion on 24-1308 transfers of funds from contingencies to other professional service, the amount of $689,000 to move funds from general fund contingencies to sheriff office for intergovernmental agreement with DuCom for police dispatch services. I'm sorry, who made that motion in second? Member Krajewski and Member Guston. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Can I have a motion on 24-1309 budget transfers from 4/23/2024 various companies and accounting units? I had a motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member Rutledge. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. We move on to procurement requisitions. Member Krajewski, I'll
Thank
call
you,
you
Madam
finance.
Move on FIP 0012-24, recommendation for approval of a contract purchase order issued to Aloha Printing Group to provide on-demand printing services for various county departments for a total not to exceed $227,894.
I have a motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member Guston. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Member Krajewski. We move on to economic development and Member LaPlante.
Thank you, Chair. I move to discharge the Economic Development Committee with regards to Agenda Item 7B1, EDP 124, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to World Relief Corporation of National Evangelicals.
Okay, I have a motion by Member LaPlante, a second by Member Guston to discharge committee. Can all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Please proceed, Member.
Thank you, Chair.
LaPlante.
I move on EDP 124, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to World Relief Corporation of National Evangelicals to utilize state of Illinois funds awarded to assist authorized to work immigrants and refugees residing in DuPage County and the Chicago metro area so that they may achieve self-sufficient employment for the period of April 1st, 24 through June 30th, 24 for an amount not to exceed $62,000. Other professional services not suitable for competitive bid per 55 Illinois CS 55-1022C pursuant to DuPage County Procurement Ordinance 2-3531B. Funds will be used to continue and finish programming for which funding has been cut or exhausted, as well as to complete development of new proprietary programming.
I have a motion by Member LaPlante, a second by Member Yu. Any discussion? Okay, I have Member Desart and then Member Covert and then Member Grant. Member Eckhoff and then Member Zay. So Member Desart.
Thank you. I had two questions. Number one, of course, we're all supportive of immigrants, refugees, becoming self-sufficient and providing literacy in the workplace, readiness skills, reading readiness. It all sounds good. But my first question, number one, is why this contract started April 1st. And my second question is, we're focused on DuPage County. So I wondered why it also said, and the Chicago metro area. Thank you.
So first off, this funding was made available through the state. Very last minute, it's for FY24. So the period of time that it encompasses is literally April 1 through June 30, 2024. We just got the grant appropriation from DCEO, which is why we had to discharge the committee and start kind of retroactively. As far as the Chicago metro area, the state made these funds available only to the workforce areas in the metro region due to the number of immigrants and refugees that have resettled here as opposed to the rest of the state. We will be looking to use these funds primarily or solely, ideally, on DuPage County residents.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Desart. Member Covert?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also agree with my seatmate. I mean, this is great work, helping refugees and helping them become self-sufficient. What my question is, I just found it a little vague where it says may achieve self-sufficient employment. How exactly are we doing that with them? Are we paying them wages? Are we giving them educational programs, or how are we going about this and how are we spending the money on these?
Sure.
I just want to make sure that, the refugees that are coming in, they are getting taken care of and we're not, obviously we're not going to abuse them, but, making sure what exactly is a program and how we're going about it.
Sure. So the $62,000 that will be the subaward agreement with World Relief will go to support three different types of programming. The first is for a program that would have run out of funds. And so this will be able to allow the individuals to keep going through June 30th. That is a foundational literacy program that is primarily composed of women that have settled here from Afghanistan, who really don't even, in some cases, have literacy in their native language, let alone, in English. So it's really like a basic, it's almost like to get them prepared for ESL classes and for future workplace success. So this is a program that we will be able to accomplish a completion of by June 30th. Of course, with that abbreviated time frame of 2 to 3 months, you can only accomplish so much. But this will go for that. The second piece is the development of a sewing and entrepreneurship class that many of these women in the foundational literacy program will then bridge into. And that is obviously imparting more career skills, occupational skills, as well as potentially them being able to start bringing in some income through the entrepreneurial aspect of that program that World Relief is developing. And then the third is an asynchronous workplace readiness program. Generally, what World Relief does is when an immigrant or refugee comes here, they like to get them in person for those types of workplace success kind of courses, but many start working right away just because needs be. And so this asynchronous program allows them to further their workplace skills, knowing what it's like culturally to work in this country, et cetera, all asynchronously at their own pace. The catch here was that the funding that World Relief had previously for this program was solely for Ukrainian parolees. And this is going to allow them to expand to individuals from any other countries in addition to Ukraine to use that program.
Okay, it's just one more question
Sure.
to follow up. Is World Relief, will they be working with local organizations that are cultural specific to help? Would they partner up with other organizations in terms of language barriers or the culture and understanding these refugees from different countries?
I can't speak exactly to that because I know that they do have a number of partnerships, but I'm not comfortable naming any of those specifically. But World Relief themselves are subject matter experts on this. So everything that they do is it's all developed through an equity lens. It's all very cultural specific. A great example of that would be the foundational literacies program that's kind of tailored towards these women that have resettled here from Afghanistan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Member Covert. I have Member Eckhoff.
Based on what your answers were, I get the impression that this is a pre-existing program that's been helping people for a number of years.
Correct. Yeah, these programs, this is my first go around with partnering with World Relief on these specific programs, but we have worked with World Relief in a number of other capacities for years now, and these are existing programs. The strategy here was if we wanted to be able to use these dollars impactfully in DuPage, we would have to find programs that were already kind of developed and in existence because of that short turnaround time.
Right, so this isn't taking away any resources or funding for pre-existing programs for residents.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Eckhoff. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A lot of my questions have been answered, but the only question, a few questions I have left. Has there been an influx of immigrants? That's what I'm asking. Obviously, we didn't get much on this. And the other thing that bothers me is in here in the ordinance says programming for which funding has been cut or exhausted. Have we seen a cut in funding?
No, we have not. There were some of World Relief's different funding streams that would have the foundational literacy program specifically, that program would have had to end if these funds weren't made available. So not DuPage County funds or WorkNet DuPage, WIOA funds, none of that has been cut. This is all additional funding being brought in. What was the first part of your question, members?
Have we seen an influx and how,
Oh.
what are the numbers we're talking about of people that we're helping with this 62,000 for a very short time period?
So for this particular, I'll go back to 2019. In DuPage County, we are second only to Cook County for the number of individuals that through WorkNet DuPage we have served that are authorized to work in this country, but that are not US born citizens. The number there is it's over 550. I want to say 553 people over that span of years, which is by far the second, excluding Cook County, who's I think 2,000, over 2,000. We are far and away number 2. So I don't know if that speaks to the quality of work that World Relief and we have done in partnership, or if that is just because more people have settled here. I could get those numbers through World Relief potentially to see if there's an influx. I know with the Ukrainian humanitarian parolees, there were many that settled in DuPage and the surrounding counties.
Okay, I mean, just ballpark, couple hundred, I mean.
Oh, more than that, vastly more than that. Definitely in the thousands.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Member Zay. I have Member Krajewski and then Member Galassi. Member
Thank
Krajewski,
you.
go ahead.
And my questions are similar to the start member Zay, just with the April 1st, the funding that had been cut or exhausted, that's World Relief. Is there a reason why we couldn't have the contract start today? I mean, we're going back to April 1st. I mean, I'm sure why it's not today through whatever, June 30th, and then we get the money.
I had actually asked that question as well. I think it has to do with just the way that the procurement worked out for April 1.
Valerie's coming up. Morning, Valerie.
I mean, it seems like this maybe that gives them an opportunity to go back and replace funds that are already being spent.
Yes, that is correct. So when I did speak with the department, they stated that they've already started some services,
Which department?
WorkNet, workforce development.
Okay,
And so they stated that having started those services already, the state allowed them to go back to April 1st.
well, they provide, well, how are you, assuming you didn't get to, how, or we didn't approve it, how are you gonna provide to pay for the services you started without the approval?
I think that they're going to submit, once this contract is approved, they will submit
who started-
invoicing for
Who
the,
started the services? I mean, who,
I'm sorry, what?
you guys start the services or this World
Relief. They already had services underway. And so when this contract is approved, then they will submit the invoicing for that. And we will use these funds to,
And if we start the day today, because we think this is good going forward, they just can't use the prior expenses they already.
yeah, I imagine that's,
All right, well, it seems like we should try to get, we're trying to help them, but it seems like we should try to allow board to approve something first before we start going forward. I would have used today's date.
I anticipated that very question. So I had asked that as well. And in theory, we could technically go all the way back to January.
We don't
1
have to
with
give them the
costs.
money, so I would think they would do what we'd ask them to do. It sounds like they got thousands of people to help anyway, so they're gonna use these funds, but.
Yeah,
So that was the first question, why it wasn't April 1st. And then are we specifically tied to having to, we can't designate it has to be used for DuPage residents? I mean, we say and the Chicago metro area. I mean, it sounds like we're just gonna give them the pot of money and they'll use it however they deem necessary.
no, in my conversations with World Relief, I've specified, we want, DuPage County residents.
That's
and
fine and good. Is there something in documentation wise? Just because you say it doesn't mean it.
In
mean-
the subaward agreement, we've listed out what will be contained in the files that they maintain. And so then it's going to be proof of residency and authorization to work, et cetera.
So, but can we demand it only be DuPage?
We can.
Or why don't we do that?
That's in the subaward agreement. We state DuPage County residency.
Well, this said and the Chicago metro area.
Oh, in the actual procurement. Technically, you can use the funds to serve. So if you have a King County.
Well, I know we
individual
can
or
use
something.
I mean, the state allows you to use the funds anywhere, but can we, if we're giving it to them, ask them to only do it for DuPage residents? It seems like we have plenty of residents here that need this funding, that we can run out just using DuPage.
Sure, we can tighten up that language, I imagine.
I would want to take care of DuPage residents first.
Sure.
So, and then this is
Agreed.
money coming from the state that can be used for, this is one of the, with there other options for it to help
Mhm.
DuPage?
Yes, actually there are. So we just, as a side note, because it'll be coming up later in the agenda, but we also at WorkNet DuPage are going to be using some of these funds to do the type of work that we do with funding occupational training. That's focused again on low income to moderate income individuals, including authorized to work immigrants and refugees. So we'll be doing some of that in-house. We also wrote into the grant for future accessibility and inclusivity of services. We're going to be purchasing handheld language translators. We're going to be getting more of our materials translated. It will cover interpretation services, all of those types of things.
So in your opinion, for you, you thought this was the best use versus some of the other programs you're doing with this 62,000?
If we had more time, Member Krajewski, like if I was given a year, I would have applied for a lot more money and used it, for the work that we do at WorkNet DuPage. But I figured this is an opportunity to bring resources in that we and our partners can benefit from in that really condensed time frame.
And because it has to be done by the end of June 30th?
Yes.
All right, thank you, but I would just DuPage only.
Yeah.
My suggestion.
Understood, and we'll take care of that.
Thank you, Member Kachewski. Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I always appreciate the work that you do. I think Member Zay asked this, but just for clarification, for the $62,000 between April 1st and June 30th, how many people, was that the answer that you gave? Did you say thousands?
No.
How many people do you think that will serve?
So what we are anticipating is there will be between 20 and 25 for the foundational literacies program, in the ballpark of 30 plus for the asynchronous workplace readiness program. And then the third plank for world relief is the curriculum development piece. So the deliverable there is that the curriculum has been developed and is ready to implement in July.
So are those buckets individual, so is that about 90 people you're serving, or can some of that overlap? Could the same person be taking those 3 courses?
The asynchronous workplace readiness will be a different population than the foundational literacies. So you can think between 50 to 60 for those 2 programs.
Okay.
A lot of those foundational literacy students will go on into the entrepreneurial and sewing program that they're going to be developing. And then for our in-house work, we're estimating somewhere between 6 to maybe 15 individuals that we will serve depending on the cost of their individual programs.
Okay. And that's all this work is taking place at your facility? No.
Only the portions that we oversee, the world relief portions take place at their locations.
Okay. And then finally, do you feel like this is sufficient for the increase in migrant population that you're seeing? Are you seeing a lot more people applying for services?
We have just kind of consistently been serving immigrants and refugees for the past, like I said, going back to maybe 2019 or so. It's been a pretty steady
increase since.
No, but
That's
it's been stable. And I would say I know we have spent over $3 million since 2019 on individuals, in this population, which is part of the reason why the state wanted to make this opportunity available as kind of an acknowledgement that a lot of WIOA funds are being spent on this population.
Okay.
And it's an important population. In DuPage County, there's over 182,000 individuals per the 2021 census that are foreign born. So it's a big segment of workforce to develop.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I had a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Member LaPlante. We move on to Human Services and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to discharge from the Human Services Committee, item 24-13-18.
Have a motion by Member Schwarzy and a second by Member Guston to discharge committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you. I move on item 24-13-18, Simple Laboratories LLC, purchase order 70210001 serve is extending contract through May 17, 2024 to allow for a longer transitioning time for new company Health Lab.
Motion by Member Schwarzy, second by Member Guston. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2024, recommendation for the approval of a contract issued to Clifton Larson Allen LLP CLA for preparation and submission of annual Medicare and Medicaid cost reports for the DuPage Care Center for the period covering May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2028, for a total amount not to exceed $33,200.
Motion by member Schwarzy, second by member Yu. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Schwarzy. We move on to judicial and public safety. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move on JPSCO 2-24, recommendation for the approval of a change order amending purchase order 5441-0 served issued to Microgenics Corporation to provide court-ordered drug testing and supplies to increase the purchase order in the amount of $48,000, resulting in an amended purchase order. Total amount not to exceed $156,114.60.
A motion by member Evans, second by member Yu. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move to approve JPSCO 3-24 amendment to purchase order 2846-1 serve issued to Journal Technologies, Inc. for a case management system for new pretrial case configurations, total in the amount of $10,000.
Motion by member Evans, second by member Galassi. Any discussion? Oh, was it member I'm sorry, member Cahill. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on JPSP 14-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Trinity Services Group, Inc. to provide meals for the inmates and officers in the jail for the Sheriff's Office for the period of June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025 for a contract total amount of $1,225,031.
Motion by member Evans, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next, I'd like to move to approve JPSP 15-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Sapphire Health LLC for the purchase of software licensing for an electronic medical record system in the Correctional Center for the period of May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2029 for a contract total not to exceed $299,283.21.
I had a motion by member Evans and second by member Cahill. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finally, I'd like to move to approve JPSR 11-24, approving an intergovernmental agreement with DuPage Public Safety Communications, DUCOM, for police department dispatch services.
Motion by member Evans, second by member Schwarzy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member Evans.
Thank you.
We move on to Public Works and member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Chaplin. I make a motion to approve FMP 001924, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Aaron's Hogan Walker LLC, doing business as AHW LLC to furnish and deliver one John Deere 4075 compact utility tractor for facilities management grounds for the period through November 30th, 2024, for total contract amount not to exceed $53,302.23.
Motion by member Garcia, second by member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FMP 002024, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Berglund Construction Company to install fall protection, which will improve safety and access to existing equipment at the power plant for facilities management for the period of April 23rd, 2024 through April 22nd, 2025 for a total contract total amount not to exceed $240,350.
Motion by member Garcia, second by member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FMP 002124, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Groot Inc. to provide refuse disposal, recycling, and asbestos pickup services for DuPage County facilities for facilities management for the period of June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025 for a contract total amount not to exceed $125,045.78.
Motion by member Garcia, second by member Yu. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 001024, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Groot Inc. for refuse disposal and recycling services for the Woodridge Green Valley Wastewater Treatment Facility and the Knoll Water Wastewater Treatment Facility for Public Works for the period of June first, 2024 to May 31st, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $117,500.
Motion by member Garcia, second by member Galassi. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Thank you, member Garcia. We move on to transportation and member Ozag's absence. I'll call on member Tornatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd move approval of 24-1262 DTR 6161C-19, an amendment to DTR 161B-19, a local public agency agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for improvements of CH 33-75th Street, section number 17-00233-03-SP for an increase of 16 cents for a final county cost of $837,573.31.
A motion by member Tornatori, second by member Garcia. Member Zay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it took Sam longer and more than 16 cents to read that. Is there a threshold that we have to bring things forward for? I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. It probably costs us
I think we
$300 in paperwork just to do a 16-cent increase.
and I think we've discussed
Next
this
time,
before. We
call
have
me,
to bring
Brian
these
said
forward.
maybe a quarter and call it even.
Yeah, I think we have discussed this, but come on up, Phil, if you'd like. But yeah, we have to bring them.
Yeah, good morning. I may not be the right person to answer this question. I'm within our department, what I've been told is if it's got to be to the penny.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's somebody else that knows something different and we can certainly.
Valerie, come on up.
My finance folks are telling me it's got to be within a penny. So that I'd be happy to defer to the folks who handle it.
You are correct. Normally it would be under the threshold and we can do administrative change. However, it is state funds and anything that is state funds, we do have to definitely bring it toward the board.
Okay, so state, no matter what it is, if it's through state
Correct.
funds, we got to make sure we're doing
To
it
the
the right
penny.
way, to the penny. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, member Zay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member Garcia. Thank you both. Oh, I'm sorry, member Tornatori, we're on
Thank you,
transportation,
Madam
sorry.
Chair. Move approval of DTP 24-24, a recommendation for the approval of a contract with First Aid Corporation doing business as First Aid Corp. to furnish and deliver automatic aerosols and cleaners as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period April 24th, 2024 through April 23rd, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $30,000 per lowest responsible.
I have a motion by member Tornatori, second by member Desart. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Member
Thank you,
Tornatori.
Madam Chair. Move approval of DTP 25-24, a recommendation for the approval of a contract to Northern Contracting, Inc. to furnish, deliver, repair, and install guardrails as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period May 12th, 2024 through May 11th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $50,000 per lowest responsible bid.
Motion by member Tornatori, second by member Desart. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, the motion carries. Member Tornatori.
Madam Chair, move approval of DTP 26-24, a recommendation for the approval of a contract to UC Orbit Group, Inc. to provide professional contract construction engineering services for the 2024 pavement maintenance north program, section 24 PVMTC-22-GM, for a contract total not to exceed $452,425 from April 23rd, 2024 through July 30th, 2025. Professional services, architects, engineers, and land surveyors vetted through a qualification-based selection process in compliance with the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act.
Motion by member Tornatori, second by member Zay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, the motion carries. Member Tornatori.
Madam Chair, move approval of DTP 27-24, a recommendation for the approval of a contract to Primera Engineers Limited to provide professional construction engineering services for the 2024 pavement maintenance south program, section 24 PVMTC-23-GM, for a contract total not to exceed $534,706 from April 23rd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Professional services, architects, engineers, and land surveyors vetted through a qualification-based selection process in compliance with the Local Government Professional Services Selection Act.
Motion by member Torrentori, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member
Thank
Torrentori.
you, Madam Chair. Move approval of DTR 17-24 awarding resolution to Builders Paving LLC for the 2024 Pavement Maintenance North Program, Section 24 PVMTC-22-GM for an estimated county cost of $4,483,656.81 for lowest responsible bid.
Motion by member Torrentori, second by member Cahill. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Torrentori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And finally, I move approval of DTR 18-24 and awarding resolution to K5 Construction Corporation for the 2024 Pavement Maintenance South Program, Section 24 PVMTC-23-GM for an estimated county cost of $6,975,390.65 for lowest responsible bid.
Motion by member Torrentori, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, member
Thank you, Madam
Torrentori.
Chair.
We move on to finance resolutions, and I'm going to call on member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to combine items 8A through D, which are all approval of employee compensation and job classification adjustments.
Have a motion by member Krajewski and a second by member Galassi to combine items 8A through D under finance. All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Please proceed, member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 0071-24 to approval of employee compensation and job classification adjustment for recorder of deeds. FIR 0072-24 approval of employee compensation and job classification adjustments for the Division of Transportation. FIR 0074-24 approval of employee compensation and job classification adjustments for probation. And last, FIR 0076-24, which is approval of employee compensation and job classification adjustments for the community services.
Have a motion by member Krajewski, second by member Garcia and member Desart. Go ahead.
I do have a question comment. For 8A, this affects 4 employees and it says that it was effective March 2nd. So over a month ago. I'm wondering why that is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, member Desart. Chris is coming up. Good morning, Chris.
All right, always afraid I'm gonna hit the wrong one. Yeah, I think that effective date was the initial date that was sent to us for the process, because it goes through a financial review and then it goes timely on to the next board agenda. So we can look at that and make a modification to reflect the date that it's approved by the board.
Okay, I don't understand. That does not make sense in my mind, just because, you know, it says the effective date is March 2nd. It says what it says.
Right.
So I'm not sure what you mean.
So when there are requests made, they want, the department or the office will put the request in of the effective date. I think it was just an oversight on our end that we did not update it to the current date.
Because the other ones, B, C, D, all say the effective date is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
So they put it in correctly and this one didn't put it in
This one
correctly?
did not, and I think we missed it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, member Desart. Member Zay.
Oh, Chris,
Oh, Chris.
Well, I think they're asking for it to start that date. So when we approve it, it'll be retroactive back to March, whatever date they put in, or no?
The March, and these, since this is kind of a new process, typically we wait till the board approval. But there are times such as, retro for union contracts, we will go back. So
Okay, but these aren't.
no, these will
Okay.
not be.
Great,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIR 0073-24, acceptance appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity workforce services for low and moderate income individuals for $177,099.
Motion by member Zay, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on FIO 0002-24, which is determining the compensation of members of the DuPage County Board.
Motion by member Krajewski, second by member Garcia. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Oh, roll call. Can I have a roll call, please? Aye.
Member Childress. Yes. Member Covert. Member Desart.
Aye.
Member Eckhoff. Member Evans.
Aye.
Member Galassi.
No.
Member Garcia. Aye. Member Guston. Member Krajewski.
Aye.
Member LaPlante. Member Ozag. Member Rutledge.
Aye.
Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
No.
Member Zay.
Aye.
Member Covert.
No.
Yeah, 10 voting aye, the motion carries. Okay, Member Krajewski. Wait, okay, go ahead, Member Krajewski, please proceed. We have 10. Oh, we need 2/3. We need 2/3, right? Do we need 2/3 on this? No,
How many?
Oh, it was
notes were there?
11-6.
How many notes were there?
11-6, I'm sorry, 11-6.
I'm
Okay.
just
Okay,
Doing the math in my head, it just didn't add up to 10.
Could get my shoe up.
Yeah.
11
I
I
was looking
6
for that
say,
color.
yes.
All right, move on to FIO 0003-24, determine the compensation of various DuPage County elected officials.
Would you like a roll call on, motion by Member Krajewski, second by Member Zay, would you- roll call, please? Oh, Member Rutledge, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. At the end of the discussion that we had 2 weeks ago on this, there was talk about vehicle stipends and I don't know where we landed on that. So before I vote on this, I'd like
Well,
to know.
We didn't really land anywhere. I think we were gonna discuss it today. So if you want to have a discussion about the stipends, is what you want to, do with those, or
I would just,
it's not.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, it's in the resolution. So it's in the body of the
Thank you, Barb.
resolution. Yeah, so it's there. Okay, Member Desart?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm the one who brought up the vehicle stipends. And since then, I've talked to a couple of the electeds who travel a lot, especially to and from Springfield. So I'm willing to withdraw that conversation on getting rid of the vehicle stipends. Thank you.
Okay, any other Member Covert, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say that we had a very robust conversation last time about this.
We did.
And there were a lot of different ideas flying around in the room. And I just want to be consistent with my position, because if we are going to give raises to one group, a group of people, then we need to do it for everyone. And if we don't do it for everyone, then none at all. So I prefer to stay consistent in my position, so I will not be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Member Cahill.
No.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Childress.
Yeah.
Member Covert.
No.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Evans.
Aye.
Member Galassi.
No.
Member Garcia.
Aye.
Member Guston. Member Krajewski.
Aye.
Member LaPlante. Member Ozag. Member Rutledge. Member Schwarzy.
No.
Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
No.
Member Zay.
Aye.
Okay. 11 voting aye, 6 voting nay, the motion carries. Thank you all. We move on to informational. I'm going to call on Member Krajewski again.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to receive and place on file informational items: A, payment of claims; B, wire transfers; C, appointments; and D, grant proposal notifications.
Okay, I have a motion to receive and place on file items A, B, C, and D under informational by Member Krajewski and a second by Member Garcia. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, those are received and placed on file. Okay, then this morning, I'd like to have a discussion on the tort liability fund, because I think it's important that we all understand how the fund works and how money is taken out of that fund. So Nick, did you want to start the discussion, or Jeff?
So Jeff is going to provide kind of a tort liability 101. I know probably most information you guys know, but he'll do that and we can kind of go from there.
Thank
after he
you.
provides you.
Good morning. Member Chaplin asked for an overview again of the tort liability fund. It's our insurance fund with the county. Tort liability is classified as a special revenue fund on the county's financial statements. It's separate from the general fund and has a separate budget and tax levy that's prepared each year. Tort is used to pay for insurance policies, including property, casualty, theft, employee practices, auto, cybersecurity, unemployment, underground storage tanks, and workers' compensation. The county uses a broker, Mesero Alliance Services. Mesero Alliance surveys the insurance market and procures third-party insurance companies on behalf of the county. Mesero Alliance also keeps the county abreast of the status of all the individual claims, and we do this via a quarterly claims review with many of the departments involved, senior staff, and our state's attorney's office. The county is self-insured for liability insurance, meaning we pay individual claims up to the maximum dollar amount per each of our policies. Once a claim reaches our out-of-pocket limit, the excess amounts are covered by the individual insurance policies that I listed before. Again, funding for tort liability comes from the annual property tax levy. We levy $3 million annually for the program. Also, transfers from the general fund occur as additional money is needed to cover claims and settlements. Expenses include policy premiums, individual claims, salary and benefits for employees working under risk management, attorney expenses, and other operating costs such as training and memberships. As of April 22nd, the Tort Liability Fund had a fund balance of $6,627,806 and is used specifically for the items that I mentioned above. So that's kind of a very high level brief overview of what the Tort Liability Fund is here at the county.
So do you guys have any questions on the tort liability fund? Okay, Member Cahill, Member Desart, and then Member Garcia. So Member Cahill, go ahead.
We allocated some of the surplus into the fund. Is that included in the $6 million?
Yes, at this time it is, yes.
Member Desart.
Jeff, I just wondered if you'd repeat that figure again, 6 million.
$6,627,806 as of April 22nd. That dollar amount's going to change every day.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Can I add one thing? So keep in mind with tort liability, you also have in your 2024 budget, there's a tort liability line. So you have that in your regular budget. This is the separate account that's kept.
Okay, Member Garcia, then Member Krajewski.
Yeah, just clarification. So out of the tort liability fund comes the payments for any settlements we may make in lawsuits. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I guess that's what I'm looking for. Some kind of transparency more with the board in terms of the settlements that we make. I don't think they're coming back to the board through our executive sessions.
I can actually cover the transparency part.
Okay, great.
So the first part I might ask the state's attorney, but as you know, that when a settlement does come, anything in excess of 75,000, the state's attorney comes and to inform the board of that settlement. So you do hear about that. So I would ask, from a transparency standpoint, I'm actually pretty proud of what we have online here. So if I could ask IT or finance to bring up, I've got 2 parts online that I can show you that is available to the public. Yeah, it's going to come up there.
Oh, where's it up at?
There goes. So here is the first part is our tort liability budget. So this is available online for the public, kind of gives an overview of what it is, how much is budgeted, as you scroll down the staffing in there, the budget, how much is spent each year, year over year actuals versus budget. So you have, that is the first parts on there. So that full budget is available online. But more importantly, from a transparency standpoint, I'd like to go to the auditor has the online checkbook. So every expenditure that is completed on that by the county, the auditor listed on here. So can we pull up just a sample year? So you can see the public can access with not just this account, but every account, every expenditure. This is available online. So we're pulling up tort liability, and you can see every single expenditure, every single check's written in 2023, who it's to, how much, and that is available for every single, you can go online to get it. So from a transparency perspective, I'm very, I'm very comfortable that this information's out there.
And I appreciate
And
that
this was
information.
pulled offline.
I just
while
found
we were
out
sitting
about
here.
this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you, Member Chapman.
Yeah.
I actually just found out about this, and I've been on the board for quite a few years. This is very transparent, and I'm glad that you're explaining it to everybody. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, Member Garcia. Member Krajewski, then Member Covert.
We were the first in the county to put the checkbook online many years ago.
Yeah.
I assume Baker Tilly, when they do the audit, asks you guys, and in their footnotes, they put in about pending litigation.
Yeah.
There's a number of disclosures that have to be in there, so the public and people who use the financials understand the potential liabilities that are out there. So I know they probably do in-depth interviews with you and the state's attorneys and document that in footnotes to the extent we have any.
They do. They're in the notes of the financial statements.
Correct, yeah, and that's been done for years, and that's to protect the public and understand what the entity, whether it's county or a private corporation, has out there in pending litigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Krajewski. Member Covert, and then Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as a chair of strategic plan, we want to make sure that everything's, the costs are low everywhere. And we're trying to reduce and be lean wherever we can. Are there any preventative strategies that we have in place to reduce a potential tort?
Well, so interesting you should ask that. So on today's agenda in Public Works, you approved a $268,000 contract to install fall prevention in our power plant. So we are constantly analyzing, figuring out how to improve what we have. I mean, our power plant is probably our most dangerous facility we have on campus. And, if we can do anything like that to prevent and eliminate and reduce workers' comp, that's money well spent. And you are spending $250,000. So we are constantly in finance department, we have a group that does just that. They go to all of the different departments. They're trying to figure out, how to make the workplace safer, what can we do? And the county board has always been very good at, if we say it's going to improve the safety, you guys have spent it every single time. When we've improved, elevator safety, improved fall protection, climbing, training, you guys have funded every single time. And we continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Covert. I have Member Guston and then Member Zay.
Thank you. On the workman comp topic, do we have those broken out by workman's comp online? Is there a special code people would know this is a workman's comp?
We don't necessarily, it's just basically a running tally, like a checkbook at home. Once you write a check, it's listed. Once you write a check, it's listed. So we don't necessarily group them saying workers' comp or whatever, but they're all in there.
Okay, because I know workers' comp is a big issue because there's a lot of money that flows out because of workman's comp. Not that we're doing on anything unsafe or anything like that. It's just the state law is pretty lenient. Do we also possibly have like a pie chart type thing where people can look at what the percentage of workman comp claims were made in one year or another? Or is that not something that's on here?
We can absolutely provide that to the board. I am not sure, I don't think that the public could create and edit this and make pie charts out of it. I mean, I guess you could list it all in a spreadsheet and then make your own pie chart, but this doesn't have the ability to make a pie chart.
Okay, so it's not identified differently. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Guston. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nick, I just want to commend staff for a county this big and how many employees we have and how many visitors we have coming on campus. And everybody in Public Works knows we had issues with sidewalks. We took steps immediately to avoid slip and falls. The work that we do to be proactive And again, being a county with this many employees doing the many things we do, from transportation to public works, facilities, the jail, for the amount of work that we do and I think the small amount of claims that we have as an organization just goes to show the leadership of our staffs, making sure that our employees are covered. And honestly, no matter what we do, things are gonna happen. People are gonna get hurt. It's just kind of a crapshoot when you put a number in there, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
But the work that we've done to make sure that, we take the necessary steps to make sure employees are safe and that we have enough money in the tort liability to cover anything that could be coming up in the future, I think goes a long way to show the leadership of our department heads and our county ones.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the four big construction departments, stormwater, public works, transportation, and facility, we all partner and we hire an outside agency that comes in, assesses what we have. I mean, we take it extremely seriously. I mean, one claim, it can be, so we take it very seriously. And as members A said, I mean, that's a point of pride we have, that, I mean, we work with some of the most probably dangerous equipment out there, and we have a very low rate of accidents.
Yeah. Thank you, members A, member Krajewski and then member Desart.
Yeah, since you brought up the big four, and maybe this is for our state's attorney. So I assume if your big four you just mentioned don't competitively bid $100,000 plus contract, vendors who don't get the bid on that, then sue the county, that become a tort liability?
The question there, I mean, we do competitively bid.
Well, but if you didn't competitively bid $100,000 contract, outside vendors don't have an opportunity to bid, then they sue our county. That'd become a tort liability, especially if they.
I'll defer to the state's attorney on that.
Right, and that'd be in our tort liability fund then if we had to do a payout, right? Wow, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Member Desart?
Thank you. So, learning that we have 6.6 million in a tort liability fund. Remind me, didn't we just approve another 200,000 to go into our tort utility fund, just a couple of weeks ago?
As far as a claim, yes.
Okay, so whenever there's a claim, we have to add more?
200,000 to go into the claim or go into the fund? No, you did not approve more money to go into it. You are constantly approving claims to go against it.
To go against it.
But you're not approving more money until, I mean, the last thing you approved more money was the surplus, 2023 surplus. Yeah, the 200,000, you're talking about 200,000 that was sent over to the state's attorney for that is not from tort liability from the budget. That went budget to budget, if you remember correctly.
Okay, all
That
right,
didn't
thank
come
you.
from tort.
No. Okay. Does anybody else have questions? Okay, because I had some questions because I was trying to find a settlement and I couldn't find it in the pay list because we approved the pay list, and then I went on the checkbook and I found it in the tort liability because the description was more complete on the online checkbook than it is on the pay list. So then I went back to the pay list and I found it on the pay list. But we had given consensus in executive session for the amount, but then that amount never really came back to the board to be ratified outside of executive session. So if we're in executive session and we give consensus on a settlement and then it's settled and it doesn't come back to the board, that's my question. It appears that what if we don't give consensus in executive session? What happens with that then?
So that, what you're talking about is more process related.
Right.
When it comes to settlements with the state attorney. So I will defer the state
Thank you.
attorney to
Thank
answer
you.
that question.
Morning. So the state's attorney is the sole legal authority for the county, and that's supported by statute, by case law, and by attorney general opinion.
Okay.
So the process in this county, some counties, they don't come to the county board at all. We come once a year to give an update as to what potential liabilities are out there. And then we come whenever there's a settlement in excess of 75,000. So that is something that there's an agreement between the state's attorney's office and the board to do. It's not required because it's the state's attorney's sole duty to defend all legal actions against the county.
Right, but we ask for consensus in there.
Correct.
As if the amount. So why are we asking for consensus if it's your call.
I think it's the state's attorney wants to be transparent and he wants to
Okay,
come to,
okay,
and so
okay.
we're all working together.
All right, okay, so, all right, but you can look online and like, the Cook County Board approves settlement, that their board is approving lawsuit settlements all the time. It goes to their board and then they're approving the settlements. But we don't, so I guess when we have bigger lawsuits that may be coming up in the pipeline, where is the transparency and the accountability other than a checkbook? Because if people don't know, if it's settled privately, people don't know about it, how do they know that these lawsuits are being settled? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I understand. I mean, obviously there's a record in court that these things have been settled. So it's, we've been FOIA'd many times with regard to settlements. But it's not, statutorily, it's not set up that the county board approves those settlements.
Okay, so.
That's why we're very careful. They seek consensus, again, with the idea of trying to work together and make sure we're keeping you advised, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
an actual approval.
Okay, so I appreciate that. That's great. So I guess my point is if they don't go to court and we just settle, right? Where's that public disclosure? Where,
In
in the
open
checkbook
doc-
only?
In open.gov.
In open.gov. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, Member Evans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I guess from my understanding though, when we ask for consensus, when you're asking for consensus, it's pretty much the maximum amount that we're willing to pay out. Lots of times you negotiate it lower, right? I mean.
Oh, we always try, but
Yeah.
we usually give a range, or we, if we are fairly certain where a settlement might, fall, then we will come in and say, we think we can get it done for this amount. But usually that's the maximum, yes.
Right. And so I personally don't need to hear. I think I'm comfortable when we do get consensus if, X amount. And if it comes in lower, I'm never going to fight you on that.
Well,
So.
we would all be happy with that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Evans. Member Zay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And that's been the policy since I've been here with several state's attorneys, that it's a courtesy, professional courtesy for them to come. But the state's attorney is our sole legal authority. And if they deem we need to make a settlement on something, that's their call, not the county board's call. Because there are
That's
sole
correct.
legal authority. That's what it comes down to. So when you come and do all that, and I always joke and say it doesn't matter anyways, it really doesn't, because you're giving us the courtesy, but you really don't have to. I mean,
But I know that it's the state's attorney's decision. He
right,
wants.
it's our state's attorney, it was the previous state's attorneys that came and included the county board in on these decisions and letting us know status of cases, which they really don't have to do, but they do it out of professional courtesy, so we're all working together. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's
But
correct.
again, if the state's attorney deems on a case that this settlement needs to be done because of X, Y, and Z, that's their call. It's not the county board's call.
And then, okay, and I get that. And I do appreciate the state attorney coming in. And then what's the authorization to pay that settlement? Then how is that? Is that just through the signed agreement then
Whenever we settle a case, there is a release and settlement agreement.
Okay.
And then that's what we send to finance, and that's along
Okay.
with other documentation. That's how they know to cut that check.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the discussion. Thank you for the overview of that account. Okay. Do we have any other old business? Do we have any new, excuse me, any new business? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Member Schwartz.